and the elders, and let's go. Okay, we got a lot to do today, a lot to talk about. We are cramming as much into this Black History Month as humanly possible. And it's humanly possible to do a whole lot. So, get ready, ride with us, roll with us. I don't want to, as Aloe Black would say, don't go alone, okay? So look, it's a Think Tank Thursday. And it's the last Thursday of Black History Month. So the way we do things around here, we think about things, we talk about things, we come up with ideas to move us forward. And we always have great guests to do that. Hour one, we look local, what's going on left coast side of town. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive on a hot topic, person of interest, etc., etc., etc. And that's exactly what we are doing today. We are on point and on task. Hour three, we will be joined by attorney Carl Douglas to talk about great lawyers of Black history. Lawyers have played a really significant role in moving the ball forward with our rights. And looks like they're going to have some heavy lifting to do in the next few years. So we'll look at that. And if you have questions or conversation, you're always invited in at 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Today is a big day for us. It's our Black History Month luncheon, and we are honoring the people who make us laugh in hard times, and these are definitely those. It's all sold out. So if you haven't gotten a ticket yet, well, I'll tell you all about it. I promise you I will. Dean Cole, Earthquake, Melanie Camacho, Martin Lawrence, D.L. Hughley, Lunell. We are paying tribute to those folks. And Tavis made a great point. We don't give enough love to our comics. We expect them to do for us, but sometimes we don't show love in return. So that's what we're doing this Black History Month. Tomorrow at First AME Church, 7 p.m. All are welcome. No advance registration needed. We are doing our own West Coast homegoing for the Reverend Jesse Jackson. And there are some great speakers. There's going to be music. It's 7 to 9. We're going to keep it to that 2-hour window. And we have of course, Tavis Smiley will be speaking. Of course, I shouldn't say of course, but Dr. Cornel West is kind of like part of our crew. So he's going to be speaking. Mayor Karen Bass will be there. We'll hear from labor leader and civil rights activist Dolores Huerta, Jesse Jackson Jr., Rabbi Stephen Jacobs, Secretary of State Shirley Weber, and L.A. County Fed Secretary Yvonne Wheeler. So that's just a few of the folks. And, of course, I'll be there. If you hear about that, of course, I will be there. Reverend Jackson has been a big inspiration in my life, and I am honored to show him love. Then Saturday, okay, I'll tell you later. I got a lot going on this weekend, and you're invited to all of it. But I have some folks in the studio who got up early to be here with me, and I so appreciate that. Ashley Edwards is joining us. She's a development director for LA Students Deserve and a member of Black Lives Matter LA, as you could see from her jacket. Ashley Edwards, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. It's always nice to have people keeping me company rather than talking to me on the phone. We're also being joined by the Director of Strategic Communications for LA Students Deserve and a member of the Police Free LAUSD Coalition, Trejo. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. So this is actually a big Black History Month moment for LA Students Deserve. And, I'm hoping that if you listen to this radio station, you know what LA Students Deserve is by now. But tell us, what anniversary are we celebrating right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be celebrating the 5-year anniversary of the Black Student Achievement Plan this Saturday at Crenshaw Mall from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is a huge feat for students in the Los Angeles Unified School District. 5 years ago, they were able to defund the school police by $25 million and then take organize with the superintendent at the time and, school board members and other youth and parents and educators to then turn that $25 million into a $100 million investment into the Black Student Achievement Plan.
I can't believe it's been 5 years.
I know.
It's been 5 years.
It's crazy. How is it 5 years? What is happening right now?
I don't know. Where does the time go? Who knows? Who knows?
So LA Students Deserve, for those in the back, louder for those in the back. How would you describe it?
So we are a youth-led organization working towards making Black Lives Matter in schools. And through some of that work over the last decade, if not more years, have been in coalition with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles and other community organizations to ending from the end of random searches in schools, ending the use of pepper spray on students, and then most recently, a couple years, updating that policy. So that's saying that school police cannot pepper spray students both on or off campus. In the creation of community schools, and honestly, just also protecting not only the education for Black students, but public education and investments to support what we call the whole child. We're not just investing in our students academically, but we want to make sure that when they go home and in between schools, they're being taken care of and supported and invested in.
Okay, so one of the things I've noticed watching LA Students Deserve is it's not just Black, it's a lot of other people.
Right.
So why would students that aren't Black fight for a Black Student Achievement Program?
Right. So I think first and foremost was addressing and acknowledging the years of divestment in Black students, the years of push out of Black students. And I think from there we can acknowledge, and even as we're celebrating 5 years of Black Student Achievement Plan, we know that it hasn't just been Black students that have benefited from the investments in counselors and mental health support staff and the creation of this program, but we have also seen the investment impact beyond just Black students, also Latino students, Asian students, and other students of color. So I think some of our young people in our space see the need that when we center Black students, all of us that are not Black are supported as well.
Because the environment at school gets better because everything elevates. Is that why?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Ashley, what is the state of BSAP? I mean, what I hear reported is that we had this lawsuit threatened from some people that don't even live here, similar to what they've done with all kinds of programs to help Black people, from angel investment to anything DEI or anything supposedly affirmative action.
Absolutely.
And that the LAUSD backed down and said, okay, now it's the All Students Achievement Program, like they All Lives Matter, the program. So how are we celebrating 5 years if that's the state of it, or is there an update that I missed?
Well, yeah, the update is that we have some really dope youth leaders that, heard the watering down of Black Student Achievement Plan and said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to continue to organize and fight for the funding that should go to us or the schools that have, the most Black students. And so while the rest of the country, you're seeing a divestment in equity programs and diversity programs, one thing that's amazing about Students Deserve and some of the other members of the the Police Free LAUSD Coalition is that last year we had actually an increase in funding for the Black Student Achievement Plan by almost $50 million. And so what you see is that students aren't taking no for an answer. They're saying, no, we're going to go up to the school board every Tuesday. We're going to stand outside and say, no, you're not going to defund us. You're not going to continue defund education. We're going to defund the police. We're going to defund programs that don't seek to advance us. And we're going to fight and we're going to get more funding. So not only did they get $50 million, but they also, increased funding for community-based safety. I think one thing that our director, Joseph Williams, says really great is that, we talk about abolition, but the opposite of abolition is investment. It's creation. And so what students have done, they said, okay, yes, we're going to abolish the police and abolish systems that abuse us, but we're going to invest in things that make me safe, like psychiatric social workers, like counselors, like nurses that, can just allow me to live my life hour by hour at that school and feel safe.
Yeah. We're going to get a little deeper into this. I have had so many arguments with parents about whether kids are safer or not with cops on campus. I'm pretty sure you have something to say about that. And how, how that student achievement, the Black Student Achievement Program works, and what y'all have going on this weekend that folks are invited to. All of that is coming up on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
What's up? What's up? What's up? We got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
Well, I hang around my boy. He been married for 6 years. Videotaping his wedding day, never watched it. Now and every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church. Getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month Luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're KBLA Talk 1580.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, we are talking LA Students Deserve, but we're really talking about, how do you center Black students? How do you center progress in a way that is youth-driven and sustainable? And I think that's one of the things that makes LA Students Deserve so special, is that the people showing up to those meetings are young people. The people driving this narrative are young people. I've actually been, just by accident, I ended up inside of a a meeting with a whole bunch of LA Students Deserve students. I felt like I'd landed on an alternate planet, but it was a dope alternate planet where all the young people were, very informed, very activated, very dedicated. Ashley Edwards is here. She's development director for LA Students Deserve and a member of Black Lives Matter LA. Mal Trejo is here, director of strategic communications for Students Deserve and Police Free LAUSD Coalition. So what is Police Free LAUSD Coalition?
So it's a coalition made up of organizations both in labor and working in the education space. It's a group of 12 plus organizations across LAUSD, organizations that at times historically have not been in line, but when it came to the issue in 2020 of answering the call to defund school police, these organizations were down to throw down and figure out how can we invest in the safety of our young people by divesting from school police.
You know the conversations. I'm sure you had them. I don't know if you guys have kids, but I have friends. No, I have friends that are progressive, and they're always progressive. These are not conservative people who feel that kids are safer with cops there. Like cops will protect them from the outside world. I have done a deep dive on this in terms of data and evidence because I did not, in my gut, feel that was true. So, and I always try to win my arguments. And what I saw in the data is that particularly Black and Latino students are not safer when police are there. Other students, it's a mixed bag. But for Black and Latino students, it's clearly the trend line is not even vague, that they are more likely to be criminalized and arrested, thrown on the ground, harassed by those cops than protected by them. But do you get pushback, because the whole BSAP, the whole Black Student Achievement Program, doesn't happen if money is not taken out of the school police program and moved into other things. This is what we always talk about. Instead of spending all the money on cops, let's get some counselors. Let's get some college visits where kids can see what else is out there in the world. Do you get pushback from parents?
Definitely a lot of pushback, and I think it's bizarre that the second largest school district in our country would rather spend over $70 million on policing our kids. I think a lot of the pushback comes back from parents who may not understand what it actually is to be on campus. Parents that think that having a police on campus means, that cop can walk a kid through an A3G program, that cop can be a mentor. And I think it does come a lot from parents wanting to have a form of somebody on campus, like a level of authority that people can look up to. But I don't think that is the intention of when we say wanting some support for our young people. We're not saying we need a cop to be an authority figure. I
mean, it's kind of logical if you think about it. Who would help your child make a good decision to go to college or not get in a fight or not go cut school and go get high? Is it more likely that conversation is going to happen with a cop or with a counselor or even like a regular old, I've been on the planet for a minute. When I was a kid, they had like security dudes on campus that weren't cops, that knew everybody, that were like, hey, you, what are you doing? They're authority figures, but they're not going to put you in handcuffs and throw you on the ground. And I've always said, I know that the school shootings the mass shootings is not an issue so much for our kids, but even those, if there was some shrink or somebody on that campus that knew that kid and said, hey, hey Juan, hey, Chandra, what's going on? Why are you that's not how you usually act.
Right. Absolutely. I think it goes down to, I'm going to use like my Dr. Melina Abdullah math when I say, when the Police Free LAUSD Coalition, as well as, the thought process of what BSAP could look like, was being formed, we did a lot of research and we, looked at different states and different organizations. And one thing that we noticed, especially in LAUSD, is that at the time, Black students were only 8% of the population, but they were almost 40% of the rest. And that math, in my opinion, ain't mathin'. And so when we decide, okay, well, let's take the incidents with police officers out of the schools, what does that look like? That looks like care. You mentioned community members that could be able to pull, these students aside and say, what's going on? Well, we talked about community-based safety earlier and investing in those organizations that are from those neighborhoods, from those areas that can have a real-life conversation with youth. I remember, I was lucky enough to be an educator, not here in California, but I understand the need of wanting to have, a protection. But protection doesn't look like slamming kids on the ground. Protection doesn't look like, children being feeling unsafe in the school that they're in for 8 hours a day. And so what the BSAP program does is it say, okay, let's take those cops out of the school and let's go put them with a BSAP counselor, so someone that looks like them can say what's really going on, to make you have these reactions to things. And we've seen success in that. And one thing I want to mention is, we talked about us being youth-led, and so I just want to bring some youth voice in the space. And one of our members, Joseph Burney, said this at a school board meeting. He said, for 60 years, Black students, 7% of the student stakeholders of this district were refused the aid that they needed. In 2021, something changed. In 2021, I walked into a school, and for the first time, I was being recognized for who I was. I was being acknowledged that unlike my non-Black peers, the communities and places that I come from are different. The resources I need are different. I felt comfort that I was being recognized. And that just says that the Black Student Achievement Plan, it's not just about HBCU tours. It's not just about, the fun things that's happen. It's literally having effect on Black children, Black male children, that they can literally stand in front of folks that are supposed to be in power and say, no, we really need investments in me because I'm what's important and I'm the future.
Yeah, it's always incredibly ironic to me that we have endless articles and studies and pearl clutching from folks about this achievement gap. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to doing something that you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out would help, there's this really entrenched resistance. What do you mean you don't want more academic counselors on campuses? That's so stupid to me. If you want people to achieve academically, shouldn't they have academic counselors? It's in the name. You know what I mean? Right. If we're having children that are struggling, and I've got to go into news, traffic, and sports, but I will want to have you address this on the other side, is, for me, when I saw the harm of COVID, right? When my dining room became the doggone classroom and the principal's office, then I have not seen the investment in fixing the harm that happened in 2020. I've heard a lot of promises, but I have not seen it with my eyes. Maybe you guys have. Love to hear it. We'll talk about that and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. Former VP Kamala Harris tells the podcast The Parnas Perspective that President Trump's State of the Union was full of lies. Here's some of what she said, courtesy of Fox News.
It was nothing that was true about really how the American people right now, so many are suffering. The guy lying about what he intends to do, what he has done, and the state of our economy and the state of the world.
Trump claimed during the speech the State of the Union was strong. She rejected that, noting high prices in housing, healthcare, and at the grocery store. The Northeast is bracing for more snow Thursday and Friday as the region is recovering from a major storm that dumped up to 3 feet in some areas. And Chicago will host their first HBCU Baseball Classic at Wrigley Field May 2nd. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It's been a tough season for the USC women's basketball team without All-American Juju Watkins. The Compton native is sitting out the entire season to recover from a knee injury. Without Watkins, USC has not been ranked in the top 25 since January 12th. The Trojans fell to 9-8 in the Big Ten, 17-11 overall after losing at Penn State Wednesday night 85-82. They close out the regular season Sunday at home against UCLA, the number 2 team in the country. UCLA has won 21 straight and will likely be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Even if the Trojans upset UCLA, they're going to have to go deep in the Big Ten tournament to have a shot at the NCAA tournament. Both of LA's NBA teams are back on the court tonight with a 2-game losing streak. The Lakers, 2-4 in their last 6, are at Phoenix. The Clippers are at home against Minnesota. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
This Friday night, KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to gather with us as we honor a legend. Join us at 7 p.m. at the historic First AME Church for a celebration of life for the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr., civil rights leader and tireless champion for justice. For decades, Reverend Jackson stood on the front lines of change, fighting for voting rights, economic opportunity, and equality for all. Now the community comes together to reflect, to remember, and to celebrate a life that helped shape a nation. Music, prayer, powerful tributes. That's this Friday, February 27th at First AME Church in Los Angeles, 2270 South Harvard Boulevard. KBLA Talk 1580 thanks our partners for this celebration of life service in honor of Reverend Jackson, the United Faith Coalition, the Empowerment Congress, LA County Federation of Labor, and SCLC LA. For details and coverage, stay with KBLA Talk 1580.
I am black, beautiful, proud.
Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
It would be weird to have a conversation about LAUSD and not mention that yesterday the FBI raided the home of the superintendent of the second largest school district in the nation, the LA Unified School District, Alberto Carvalho. We don't have a lot of details so far, but it's sure to come out. I'm not going to ask our guests about this because they work for a nonprofit, and nonprofits do not, they're not supposed to be talking politics So in that way, but they're saying the New York Times, I mean, this is a national story. The New York Times is saying that it might be related to a contract that the district had with a tech startup who the people in that company knew or had worked before with the superintendent. We will see. They raided the headquarters of the LAUSD. They also raided the home of the superintendent on yesterday. And yeah, this is something we'll continue to follow. I can't wait to get someone on here who can talk politics and who can give us some insights into this. It's always going to raise an eyebrow for me because it's coming from this Justice Department. They clearly have an agenda. And how does that agenda fit in here? I do not see them raiding the homes of people who are found in the Epstein files, for example. Just saying. Right now we're talking about LA Students Deserve. Mal Trejo is with us. He's a strategic communications person with them, and Ashley Edwards, a development specialist. And before we lose any more minutes, because time flies when you're on the radio, what is happening on Saturday?
Yes, so Saturday at the Crenshaw Mall, we are celebrating 5 years of Black student achievement. We're going to be there from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., both doing political education workshops, celebrating with our young people and families, doing free food, and just talking about the next phase of our campaign. So this Saturday, we're actually launching a big campaign to continue to demand that the LAUSD improve BSAP in a time where we're seeing the federal government cut programs that are race-based. We are demanding that LAUSD continues to stand strong and double down on investments on Black students. And so we are going to be sharing that plan with people and what that's going to look like, as we are also facing budget cuts in the district. And we're demanding, hey, no cuts to BSAP, fully fund BSAP, and cut LA School Police.
Even more.
I
mean, the thing about BSAP, that funding does come from cuts that were made to policing on campuses. And the other thing I noticed when I did that deep dive is that cops off campus is really a national thing. It's not an LA thing. It's in markets, and it's in high school and also in universities where, young people are being raped, and the cops don't seem to be a deterrent at all. So it's almost like BSAP is self-funding, but in these crazy budget cut times, you're facing folks saying, hey, let's get some of that money, even though that money wouldn't have been there if the students wouldn't have organized to get it.
Yeah, if the Black students wouldn't have organized specifically. We're seeing, as you said, cuts in education, or the watering down of BSAP, where, folks see the end result, or the middle of the end result, and as students are improving their academics, the way they're moving around in schools, and then they want to take from that pot. But what they don't understand is that those same students that are benefiting from these programs are the ones that are going to the school board every Tuesday and fighting for these things every day. We mentioned the Black Student Achievement Plan 5-year anniversary on Saturday, but one thing we want to mention is that it's completely youth led, and so we live in a world of distractions. And so what I would just encourage the community is, like, in this time of distractions with whatever's going on with everything in the world, let's come and show these youth that we are supporting them, and that we know that they are the future, and that, the community is behind them. I think one of our goals is that, like I said, we go to the school board every Tuesday, and within the Police Free LAUSD Coalition, I know the school board is sick of seeing the same the same group of people every Tuesday, but let's have some new faces come learn about what these students are doing, and tap into the organizations that are really making historic changes in LAUSD.
Yeah, and also they may be sick of the same people, but they're not sick of each other, and they're the same people that come to those meetings every time. So, I mean, and from my observation, many years, the thing that drew me into, for example, the community coalition was the youth. I saw them out organizing. I was like, oh, what is this group? So those folks do go on to be leaders of the school board, of the city, like our city council president and others. So you're asking people to come out, take part in these workshops, eat, hang out, and do what?
take action to protecting BSAP. We are going to, like I mentioned, we're going to be launching the next phase of our campaign. So this is a moment in time, and also how we continue to protect our local schools. We've seen the divestment in local schools here in the Crenshaw district for years. And so we're, wanting to create a space and funnel to empower parents and families of how do we stop busing our kids out of our communities. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's an opportunity to also for people to get organized and put, some of our feelings into actions and advocate for within our young people.
Jerry Anderson is in the chat, and he says the teachers union has not demanded counselors. So no counselors. But I don't know if that's fair, Jerry, because I know that the teachers union has been strongly in support of BSAP, the Black Student Achievement Program. And in fact, Cecily Mayart Cruz, who's the president of that union, was on this show talking about exactly that. And I think it's actually pretty unusual for a teachers union to make that a contract demand, a benefit for students.
Absolutely. UTLA, the United Teachers of Los Angeles, have really stood firm in their commitment to Black students. And so I would say that is incorrect in that they have really demanded for counselors and other resources within the Black Student Achievement Plan to not only be funded more, but to continue just past this 5 years throughout their contract. So I would encourage him to go look at
LAUSD.com
for some more information of what resources the Black Student Achievement Plan provides, and that does include counseling. And also come out to the event on Saturday so you can see for yourself.
And knowing Jerry, he might. He might. Yeah, that's at the Crenshaw Mall where I'm glad you guys are there because a lot of times ain't none going on over there.
Right.
And having a whole celebration from 11 to 3. How do children, young people access the benefits of the Black Student Achievement Program?
Yeah, so every school receives funding from BSAP. But if you particularly go to a school in a predominantly Black area, including Dorsey, Crenshaw High School, Hamilton High School, Laces, the King Drews, Narbonne San Pedro, there is a BSAP counselor on your campus. There's BSAP staff ready to support your Black children on campus, your Black parents as well. So it's simply making sure that you're at that school and you're demanding investments. If you have a Black child in LAUSD, you should be getting investments through BSAP.
So, I mean, they can just go and ask, my child would like to see the BSAP counselor.
Yes.
Or, whatever, what is available on this campus. And I just have to point out, as we say, that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the kids.
That's right. That's right.
I feel like a lot of, and, we have a lot of chronologically gifted people that listen to KBLA. And I think sometimes we stereotype kids, and kids today don't care, and our country is going to hell in a handbasket. I don't have that feeling because I have a kid now, now in college, but being surrounded by kids and their strong opinions all the time.
Right.
But I think for the ones that have gone up to grandparent status and don't have that close proximity, they can lose touch with the activism of young people. How do you see it? Do you see it as vibrant? Do you see it as sluggish? Like, are you dragging these young people kicking and screaming to activism, or are they dragging you? Or is it some balance therein?
Right.
Yeah,
because you guys aren't exactly old people, by the way. But you're not in high school.
I'm definitely not in high school.
Not yet, parents. Not in high school. Yeah.
Is that a song? Anywho, I would say it looks very vibrant, and I would ask Nana and Pop to come to the event so you can see that the future is all right. The kids are going to be fine. Not only are they excited about everything that's happening, we have to understand that when you're seeing these walkouts in schools, students fighting for their rights, those are the kids that are ready to organize. They're ready to move. They're ready to continue the work of grandma and grandpa. You know what I'm saying? So I would advise, those folks in the older generation, come see what your work did, because your work is literally an example of what the kids are doing currently.
And they be looking up to us. One of the things that we say at Students Deserve is that we are stewards of these young people. These young people, and yes, rightfully so, may be very opinionated, but they're willing to do the work to make things happen in our schools and beyond.
I mean, without opinions, we don't care about anything, right?
Exactly.
Without opinions, we're indifferent. And I think, just because it might look a little different from generation to generation doesn't mean isn't activism. In fact, if young people didn't do it their way, they wouldn't be young people. If they didn't get on your last nerve, they wouldn't be doing their job.
And these are brilliant kids. As you said, this BSAP program would not be what it was without them. And so come see the brilliance. And during the program, you're going to hear from youth that started the program in 2020 or had the idea in 2019 to folks that have maybe recently graduated. And so you're going to see the past, present, and the future in this event. And so you'll be able to walk through the timeline of what BSAP is and what it could be with more community support.
Do we, I feel like I've asked this question, but I'm going to ask you again. It feels like a program like this is impossible to exist in the current environment, political environment. Not asking you to comment on the political environment. You've said the kids keep fighting. They keep going to the school board meetings. Do we know, where are we with this lawsuit? Do we know where are we with the, I guess, peril to the Black Student Achievement Program?
Yes, I think in so many ways, any policies that Black people have fought for historically, we have had to assert them. To be we must have these things in our schools. And I think despite the current political climate that has attacked these policies, we are continuing to push the district, again, the second largest school district in the country, to say, no, these are things that we have rightfully invested in, and in almost as a form of reparations, the divestment.
It's interesting you say that, because that was my immediate reaction. Okay, if you're going to call this affirmative action, let's call it reparations. Right. Of course, our current environment doesn't support reparations either. But at least you can't say, well, the Supreme Court outlawed that.
Right.
Because they haven't yet outlawed reparations.
Yeah. Right. And I'll say that these youth are going to continue their fight for equality no matter who's in that office. And you can put whatever office, you see fit, because no matter what, we're going to come up to opposition because we're fighting for things that make folks uncomfortable. And unfortunately, that uncomfortable reaction comes from ignorance, and all we can do is fight ignorance with power, and that power looks like youth leading this fight day to day. And so, no matter who is going to file a lawsuit, no matter who is going to, say that youth don't have the right to march or have the right to have their voice heard, these youth are going to say, well, it doesn't matter what you say. We're going to do it. And I think one thing that I'm really proud of through the work of not only Students Deserve, but other organizations in the Police Free LAUSD Coalition is that we get the work done. Right. It's not just something that we say. It's literally when we fight, we win.
Right.
Go ahead.
In the last 5 years, I think even despite the changes of administration, we have, and this is not to sound, but it's empowering to hear that even in times of rollback on these programs, we have doubled down and even won even more money. I think up until 2026, there has been over $175+ million each year invested on Black student achievement.
It just seems wildly unlikely, but yet it's happening. And I think that's a really important thing for us to wrap our minds around, that things that seem wildly unlikely happen all the time with activism. I before News, Traffic, and Sports, I threw out the question of COVID, because as a mom, I heard a lot of promises, and I haven't seen delivery on repairing the harm. I mean, I had a kid, well, you know what, let me not say. He hates when I put his business on the air. But definitely I've seen the harm. I've seen the impact. So do you see programs that are, or initiatives that are addressing this in a real way?
Yeah, absolutely. There's absolutely more that we could do. But I do see growth in the willingness to at least listen. What we fail to realize is that most of these programs came out of COVID. They came out of youth, sitting in, like you said, at your table thinking, what am I supposed to be doing? And using that as a factor in their own activism. And so I do see an improvement. And COVID did a number on a lot of us. And so I think we're gonna see the waves of that for a long time. And so all I know is that students are more, what am I trying to say? They're more excited to get something done. And so I'll pass it to Mal.
Yeah. And I think in so many ways too, one of the plans that we fought with along UTLA and Reclaim Our Schools LA was the Beyond Recovery campaign. So we said that, acknowledging that during 2020 our students were experiencing so much, so that when we came back into schools, we demanded even more programs, from access to clean bathrooms to PPE in schools. And we know, I think that there's still to this day so much more that we can do to support our young people. But we're excited and looking forward to seeing all of you on Saturday, February 28th at the Crenshaw Mall from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You'll be joined by the Police Free LAUSD Coalition, which includes Students Deserve, Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, UTLA Reclaim Our Schools, the Brother Son Selves Coalition, Inner City Struggle Community Coalition, the Labor Strategy Community Center, the Social Justice Learning Institute, the Collective for Liberatory Lawyering, Cadre Parents, $1 Million Hoods, and the ACLU of Southern California.
That's
so we're
a whole bunch
deep.
of folks. Yes, indeed. We'll continue this conversation when we come forward. And I will say, I do want to say this, that, you know, the presence of BSAP, I'm sure, is one of those lifelines that did help kids recover. But I just think they're not recovered yet. And we like to pretend we did what we said we were going to do. In many cases, we did not. We'll continue this convo when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
That's good.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
This Black History Month, we're proud to highlight the diverse team that helps serve Los Angeles every day. At the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, our nearly 12,000-strong workforce reflects the communities we serve. We're hiring for positions in engineering, skilled craft, information technology, fleet services, and more. Are you ready for competitive pay, strong benefits, and a meaningful career that serves millions? Join the team that's building a stronger LA. Learn more at joinladwp.com. Attention community leaders, are you ready to strengthen your impact in the community? For more than 25 years, Community Development Services has helped nonprofits build strong communities by empowering community leaders and emerging professionals with the support they need to create lasting change. Starting a nonprofit or need a fiscal sponsor? Need expert nonprofit accounting services? Want nonprofit financial management training for your staff? Are you a college accounting student seeking an internship opportunity? Call 424-289-4330 or visit communitydevelopmentservicesinc.org. Community Development Services, providing support, improving communities.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Created with a share of the 1984 Olympic Games surplus, LA 84 began operations in 1985 as a grant-making and educational foundation. Today, the LA 84 Foundation supports hundreds of nonprofit youth sports organizations throughout Southern California annually, trains coaches, commissions research, convenes conferences, and maintains the world's premier Olympic and sports library collection. They are transforming lives and communities through the power of youth sports. To find out about youth sports programs for yourself or your child, and to get information about the grants and support they offer to schools and nonprofits, or if you want to make a donation, please visit la84.org. That's la84.org. Or you can call them at 323-730-4600. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like nuclear reactor safety expert.
I disabled the backup cooling system. It was making such an annoying noise. You heard it, right? It was like,
We're on the countdown to core failure.
And you're saying we don't want that?
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed-sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Time flies when you are on the radio. We're talking about the Black Student Achievement Program 5-year anniversary. Can't believe it's been 5 years. Ashley Edwards, Development Director for LA Students Deserve and a member of BLMLA, and Mau Trejo, Director of Strategic Communications for LA Students Deserve and also a member of the Police Free LAUSD Coalition. We just have a couple minutes here. Tell us how to find you guys. Tell us how to find Students Deserve other than coming Saturday to the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall.
You can follow us on Instagram at LA_Students Deserve and everywhere else. You can also check out our website at studentsdeserve.org and also the Police Free LAUSD Coalition website, safeschools.lausd.com, where you can also find a 36-page report on our community vision for safety in schools.
That's dope. And Ashley, you want to add to that?
Yeah, we're just looking forward to seeing everybody on Saturday. Our theme is Repair the Harm, Plant the Seeds, and Protect Our Future. So we're looking forward to seeing everyone Saturday at the Crenshaw Mall to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of the Black Student
11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the space will be open till 4. They'll have community tables. Like I said, Mal was saying, food and space. So you'll have time to convene with some of your community members and get to know some of these organizations that made the Black Student Achievement Plan possible.
And you can register _bit.ly /BSAP anniversary and join us. Let us know you're coming.
Okay, we got a minute here on the way out the door. If either one of you want to throw out a number, a data point, or something that you've seen coming out of BSAP that makes you feel strongly that this is something we need to protect.
One of the things that we're sharing on Saturday is what happens 5 years later when you invest in Black students, from the impacts in attendance of Black students in schools, increasing graduation rates, and the decrease of suspensions.
So you're tracking that data.
Yeah,
and
we're tracking that data.
Anything you want to add to that, whether it's a personal anecdote or it doesn't have to be numbers, just why you think this is worth fighting for, Ashley?
This is worth fighting for because the students need it and the students demand it. This is worth fighting for because if we want to see a better world for our youth and for ourselves in the future, we need to support those that are doing the work, and those are our students in school. And so, yeah, please come out and support and just show these youth that the community is behind them and that they're not in this alone.
Absolutely. Well, Mau Trejo and Ashley Edwards, thank you for coming in. Thanks for the work that you are doing. And I'm going to call you out, my KBLA delegation. A lot of folks like to complain about how Black students don't get this and there's nothing special for us and people don't do anything specifically targeting Black folks. Well, this is that. Mm-hmm. So if you've been complaining about it, why don't you show up and support the young people and the organization that is working to empower them. That is Saturday, 11 to 3, Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. You know where it's at. All right, phone lines are open wide. That's next on a Think Tank Thursday, KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. Former VP Kamala Harris tells the podcast The Parnas Perspective